morning to everybody. And I will not say welcome in Vienna because I'm not in Vienna, but I'm very happy to be with you in Vienna. So I will try to talk about a population that has a late fertility transition in Europe. So, and it's not so far away because it was in the 1950s. And as the title of this conference includes time, I will bring a story that considers 2 centuries, what is, I think, very important in this case. So I have Alice in the audience there, and I work also with people from Sardinia that helped me to collect the data. So if you go back to the book and the work of Livi Baschi, he already mentioned in 1977 that Sardinia was probably one of the latest, the last one to enter in the fertility transition. And if you look at the data that is included in his work, the New Europe province is definitively the one that has the higher total fertility rates in the 50, for example. And this is a mountainous part of Sardinia. And just to look on the map, where this is Sardinia, and the 2 villages I'm dealing with are Villa Grande and Seulo. They are in altitude, about 800 meters of altitude. In the first one you have 3,000 inhabitants, in the second one 800 inhabitants. And they are included in the so-called longevity blue zone, which means the place where people are really living longer. And I came here already 5 years ago to present this area. And if you want to look in the archive of the Vienna Yearbook, you will see a paper on this. So this is the blue zone of Sardinia. So I really studied 2 villages, and just, this is a parenthesis, but this is the only village on Earth where on the developed world, where I found equal number of centenarians that are male and female. So no gender gap in longevity in these 2 villages. And not with small number, because in Villa Grande we had 44 centenarians, 22 male and 22 female, what is exceptional. Let's try to see what are the data we use. So we are looking about alongside 2 centuries. We start in 1800 up to 2018. I received the last data just 2 days ago. So we have 3,600 women that reach the age of 18, and we start with the newborn in 1840 and the last one in 1989. For sure, the last one will have to be censored for the fertility because they did not reach 50 years of age. But now it's not a problem. But we have also 219 women that married but did not have any child. And we check really that they did not have any child because this is very important in the story. And we have also 881 girls that did not marry up to age of 50. So this is the full data, and the data source, as you see down, are the parish register, then the civil register starting from 1866, and then the anagraphy, this is the population register up to now, and the last years are in an electronic version that is more easy to have access. The criteria to select the girls or the women are the following. They should be born in one of the 2 villages. They should be, if they marry, we should have information on the date of marriage. They live there, or they die there, or they are still alive in the village, so we need to have the proof of survival. And again, for their spouse, because their spouse should also be either alive or die in the village after the women is age of 50. And there is no immigration, because immigration is disturbing. Just to give you an idea, the completeness of the database is very high, and we have information on the date of death and the survival of 95% of the women in Seulo and 98% in Villa Grande. But it took, in fact, 18 years to collect this type of data with the contribution of the municipality. So you have an idea on the distribution by generation of all these girls in the 2 villages. And you can see that the last one are really very young girls, because they were born in 1980, 1989. And the first one, 18. And The village of Seulo was bigger in the past, but you have a factor of 2 approximately in terms of population between the two villages. And if you look the distribution between those who are married and got children, those who have no child, and those who are unmarried up to the age of 50. You see, you have the distribution there, and so we will work especially on the first column to characterize the fertility behavior of these people. This is first what we did. This is, we selected 450 families that has a complete fertility history, and that was during the natural fertility period, which means they were born between 1840 and 1889. And this is what you can see, the blue line gives you a TFR of 6.85. So this is more than 6 children per family. And the black one is, if you consider only those who are married, so the difference between the two are the ones that are not married in the system. We consider there only family that has complete fertility history. So they don't die before age of 50, or the husband does not die before the girl is 50. So 6.85, and it's not so far from what we learned from Africa. Huh? It's exactly the same level. Huh? And if you use this level of natural fertility and you apply the at-risk population, how many girls are 80 and plus by year of age and year of occurrence, you may compute, you may expect, see what is the expected number of newborn that you may have. And to compare with the real one, you have really the trends in the fertility. So you can see that during about 70 years, you are at the level of 6 points, and then you decrease. And there are several ways to decrease. Okay, I go a bit quicker because I may stay longer, but Albert already showed me the red panel. So, infant mortality, just to give an idea, infant mortality definitively decreased only in 1935, and not earlier. You have here the number of surviving children at age 1. You see we have 6, and then it decreased below 2, and it's in the family now. And this is the mean age of the first child, and you can see that there is a slight increase with 2 peaks after the First and the Second World War, a decrease then in 1950-70, and then a very strong increase at the end. So you have different time in the fertility transition. The first intergenesic interval between the first and the second child for all couple that has at least 2 children looked very stable, very, very stable during, I would say, 100 years, 30 months exactly, and then suddenly, whoop, it jumps. And this is really what you can do when you have so long period. You can really see this. Mean age at the last child, look, above 40 during the natural period, then a decrease, and now an increase. You have really 3 different phases that appear when you put all these. And what is good is that you are using the same data, so it's not a problem of difference in data. It's the same database, and then you can see these different trends. And this is the last birth interval. You see, it was again something very stable. As you know, in demographic, historical demography, it's always a bit larger than the normal interval. It was 40 months, and then whoop, it increased at the end of the story. But it increased quicker than what you saw before, which means that we will think about this limitation of the contraception, just to show you how the fertility period varied by generation. And this is just the probability to go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3. And you can see that the first one that increased is for sure the 3 to 4, and if you are in the 1990, then the 1 to 2 is also increasing. The number of children that doesn't go from 1 to 2. Okay? And now let's try to see. So the innovative aspect of this research, first of all, and I think it's very important, it brings the past and the present in the same story. And you know, I am very interested by policy support, but I'm also very interested in history. And if you can bring history and the situation today, I did some speech in the village in front of the municipal council to explain where they are. But I have 200 years beyond to know how it evolved. The second thing is that you have continuous individual data, and you may analyze it on individual base. Then you may compare two villages. In genetics, you will say that you may replicate what you find in one village to the other one. And then what was really amazing, I was able to do survey of the people that were really the actor of the transition. Because the main change was in the 50s, and I really did some survey with people that were born in the 20s. And it's very nice to do this qualitative aspect to know what happens really. I will not tell you in detail, but it's very interesting. Let's try just to interpret the different phase to finish my speech. You can see that you have no sign of the decrease of the fertility, even at the beginning of the 20th century. And you have even the impact of the pro-natalist incentive of Mussolini in the 30s. In the 30s, Mussolini pushed to have more children because he saw that in rural Italy there was really decreasing number of children, so you can see it also. After the World War II, you have the anti-malaria campaign. The Americans came in the country, and in fact, they opened the village. You have new road, you have a lot of things that change, exchange of goods and starting of migration. This is something that will have a huge impact. Another impact is that in the 50s you have new policy. Pension are appearing, health system is changing, so a lot of things are changing in the 50s and will be in advantage of these people. The compulsory education of children started in 62. So your boy cannot go anymore with the father in the mountain, he has to stay at home. This is the change between the child that is bringing something to the family or asking something from the family. This is the big change. And you have also, starting from the 60s, higher education for the women. You can see directly this. And the probability to go from 2 to 3, it was really clear. And at that time, they have only two methods, the coit interruptus of the Origino that was promoted by the Vatican. And that was in the 60s and 70s. And suddenly, in 84, the pill arrived in the village. And I did the survey with the pharmacist there to see exactly what happens. No, but Thomas is laughing there, but this is the way. This is the way you have to discuss with him, and then he says, yes, starting from the 85, they come to ask some pill. And in the 90s, then you start to have some change due to the second demographic transition, and there are couples that are not married and has children. So, just to say that we have still some work to do, and mostly by asking questions by survey and so on, but it's a wonderful database, and I invite you to come in Sardinia for the next time to experience it with me. Thank you.